nothing to do with my most recent video, but it is what it is. Listen to your podcast. Thank you, Stargazer361619. So I was saying about a minute ago, it was a choice between do I go live while being slightly under the influence of what was supposed to be a microdose, or do I do a podcast? I decided to go with the live for now. But if you have any questions in regards to the podcast, for example, please feel free to ask them now. If you have any questions in regards to the video that I posted, my most recent video, please feel free to ask them as well. I love sort of engaging with you guys in real time, especially about the podcast, about the videos and things of that nature. If you just have any general questions, let me know. Okay, what are you saying? I'm on chapter 6. I feel like chapter 3 still can't wrap my head around. Chapter 3? What do you mean by chapters? Which podcast are you listening to? Are you listening to you must be listening to the Dark Oracle's Guide to the Multiverse. Hey, I don't want to go live with you. Sorry. Stop doing that. I thought you might have been listening to the other podcast, Your One Black Friend. That one is ongoing. Hello, Tyrone. The Dark Oracle's Guide. Yeah, that one's interesting. I actually always recommend that people listen to it in reverse, like work their way backwards, listening to episode 15 and then end at episode 1. I don't know why I recommend it that way. I feel like it's actually more easy to understand the later episodes are, and then it gets sort of like more complex, but maybe not. Maybe I'm being like overly critical, but if you're already halfway through, might as well just carry on. I mean, it seems like you're enjoying it, so I think like do what works for you. I'm totally weird though. Like I'm the kind of person who will watch the last episode. I have an ongoing podcast. So you go on the solo.to link and you'll see it should say like ongoing. It's Your One Black Friend. So I would check that out. That one is it's less sort of scripted. I don't sit and write it out. But it's just like stream of consciousness. I sit down and record the episodes and I kind of go from there. What up, Jayco? How are you? It's been a while. But appreciate your support always. Thank you for popping by. I'm just waiting for enough people to get in so that kind of start talking about some really interesting stuff. I don't know how long I'll be able to do a live today. It's late, first of all. I don't even know what time it is. Okay, so but thank you for stopping by. Imagine the human race living in a deep sea, overwhelmed with darkness and pressure. Oh, I like that. That's a good intro. That's a good sentence. It's a great sentence to start in. I sometimes wonder, like, if we are all my myriad of theories. But can she freestyle? No. I cannot. Was the Dark Oracle my first podcast? It was. Yes. I renamed my iPod the Titanic, so when I plug it in, it says the Titanic is sinking. Ha. I like that. I'm easily entertained. Oh, speaking of ease of entertainment, look what I got. Random. I wanted to share this with you guys. I got a sword. I'm starting episode 11 tomorrow. Need an arc? I know a guy. Baduptus. Alright, are you gonna do this all night? King Dad jokes. Okay, I get it now. I get it. I like it. I got a sword, guys. Boom. This feels nice in my hand. For those of you who have been sort of come to, yes, please ask questions. Don't show that. Oh, okay. I'm going to put it down. I didn't know that could be something that you could get banned for. Man, they ban people over random things. Hey, how you doing? Well, I got a sword. I can't show it because I could get banned, so apologies. And do I know how to use that sword? Yes, I do. I can't show my sword. I was really excited about it. Why is everything so censored? Anyway, if you have any questions, Yeah, I have I've put it away. So let's switch topics. You can slide in my DMs if you want to know more about my sword. I'm mad at you. I need you. It feels right in my hand, I should say. I'd be mad. I need you in my ear saying, Yako, what are you thinking about this? What? Bruh. Married. But no, thank you for letting me know about that could happen. For my YouTube channel, a review video. Okay, all right, I gotta stay on topic here. Oh, that's awful. That's an awful joke, sir. I don't know. I would imagine that you cannot. It's not a weapon. I mean, yes, it is a weapon, but anything is a weapon if you if you're committed to the destruction of another person. Anything can be. Your phone can be used as a weapon for goodness sake. Okay, so I don't want to miss you guys. Do you get energy from your cold showers? I do. Did not take one before I did this live though. I mean, I took one earlier in the day. The state does not like weapons in the hands of commoners. How do you know I'm a commoner, sir? So are you a time traveler? I cannot speak on that. Yeah, so, Naomi Campbell's, yo, stop. But yes, exactly. You haven't popped up on my feed at all lately. I don't know. TikTok is wild. It's wild. I was live with a guy who showed nunchucks. You can get banned for nunchucks. Laughs at John Wick. Yeah. Okay. No, I appreciate the compliment. It's kind of hard when you're reading text. So apparently I text like an asshole. I just found that out earlier this week, but I kind of low-key knew. So I always just sort of read like negativity into people's texts. So I apologize for that. I apologize for jumping to conclusions. Please accept my apologies. I'm African. I am African from Africa. I am Igbo and Edo. My mother is Igbo. My father is Edo of the Benin tribe. Do you guys remember in Black Panther where Killmonger goes to the museum and he's like talking about like these weapons were from, I think it was like a mask and a couple of like bronze statues and things like that. Remember that scene? And he was like, this is from the Benin Kingdom. That is my father's tribe. So, yes. Is that you in the painting? Oh my gosh. Wait, what did you low-key know, Paradox Unknown? What, the fact that I text like an asshole? You trying to tell me something? That is not me in my painting. And the reason why I said, oh my God, don't take it personally. Don't take it personally. I also speak like an asshole, apparently. It's just every podcast, or not podcast, every live that I do where there's a painting behind me, people always go, is that you in the painting? No matter what the painting looks like. And I don't get it. But maybe it is. Maybe it is my various selves in parallel universes. Maybe you guys are seeing something that I'm incapable of seeing right now at the moment. But yes, this isn't me. What if I was like, actually, yes, that is me. I shaved today. I want to be presentable for you. Oh, okay, sorry. Astral projection tips. You don't have to yell. As far as tips for astral projections, it's not the same nose, is it? As far as tips for astral projections, I have no tips for that because I cannot do that yet. So if you have any tips for me, please let me know. That would be dope as fuck. I'm still trying to lucid dream. So yeah, I keep staring at. That's a fine beard, isn't it? It's just a gorgeous beard. I love beards. If I were a guy, I would like literally. I would be like I would have a full blown like beard, but I'm not. So yeah, I have no tips. I apologize. Let's get a better look at that beard. And I guess I did paint that. I know somebody asked that earlier. What is a podcast again? Okay, so I have an ongoing podcast. Go to the solo.to link in my bio. Not right now. after the live because I need you guys to stay in the live while I'm talking. And I'm a bit long-winded, so it might be a while. But after the live, please feel free to go to the link in my bio and check it out. I've got 2 podcasts. One is ongoing. It's only 15 episodes. It's a bit old. I think 2018 was the last time I put an episode out there. But the information in there is still, at the very least, interesting. And then I have an ongoing podcast called Your One Black Friend. And that one I put out an episode every week. The most recent episode, somebody just commented that it was good. And I appreciate you, sir. I appreciate you, sir. But the most recent episode has to do with my most recent video as well. So if you're interested, check it out. I'll give you a tip then. Try to feel the blood flow within your sphenoidal bone. I'll work on that. Dream journal, then lucid dreaming, then astral projection, plus crystals may help. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I kind of, not gonna lie, I gave up on I was diligently writing down my dreams, and then I was like, I'll remember this. I did when I was writing it down. There were a couple of things that I was doing. Right before I would go to sleep, I would repeat a mantra. Actually, I actually do this throughout the day as well. I kept repeating the mantra that none of this is real. This is a dream. Even while in my waking life, I would walk through just throughout the day and do reality checks. But I would just say this is a dream, right? This is a dream and I am dreaming even during the day. And I already kind of 100% believe that we're in a simulation anyway. I'm not even gonna say kind of. So that was sort of the reminder. And then I just kind of got lazy. I wake up and I'm just okay, yeah, I'll remember that dream. Or that dream has nothing to do with the future because it's just so wild or whatever. So I've kind of given up on that temporarily. I will obviously go back to it. This week has been weird for me. If you are wondering, I didn't just put that video out and then just go about my life hey, let's go watch cat videos, right? I put that video out, my most recent video, and then shortly after that had a little bit of an existential crisis. And so, because shit is wild, my people. Shit is wild. You cannot have that kind of a revelation, right? If you haven't seen the most recent episode of my video, I recommend that you check it out on my TikTok channel. Go check it out. But after this live, or you can leave and come back. It's cool too. Free will, right? You have the freedom to whatever you want. But you don't kind of reach that sort of revelation, or at least think about a theory like that, and then just go back to your regular fucking existence. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's fine. I was getting a lot of these comments of people who are so you're saying basically it's a matrix. Nah, bruh. I have, I said, I have the 2 podcasts. I have the one that is called The Dark Oracle's Guide to the Multiverse, which I'm literally just positing. I am playing the role of the Oracle on that podcast, and I'm essentially just casually talking about the fact that we are, in a simulation. You know what I mean? And thanks for the rose. And so I lost my train of thoughts. Sorry, guys, that happens. If you remember what I'm saying, remind me. For those of you who aren't familiar with me, I have ADHD. So I tend to jump around a bit. If I lose my train of focus, so people who come to the lives regularly know to do this to help me out with this. If I'm talking about something deep, remind me, and then I will get back on. So this is an interactive. This is an interactive. Don't laugh at me. And thank you. So yeah, a lot of the people that are in the live, you kind of know how it goes. If I'm on some tracks, just bring me back if I get off. Would really be grateful for that. Thank you. So, that's me every socially, but, I love the way you jump. Well, I appreciate it. Okay. It is a roller coaster. Imagine my brain. So I was all right, cool. We're in a simulation. That's fine. That doesn't really mean anything, right? Because Yes, thank you. So it doesn't really mean anything, right? Because it's like, okay, because in my mind, especially if you listen to the Dark Oracle's Guide to the Multiverse podcast, like I'm just casually talking about like, hey guys, so this is a simulation, and by the way, like, you know, when you die or when you dream, you can exit the simulation and then go on to like your everyday existence. And then you come back when you wake up in this reality and you just live this life. And the purpose of this reality is for you to learn. Okay? All right, we can talk about crypto. There's not much I can say about that. Or maybe there is. But yes, remind me. So like that, but that was that whole like the Dark Oracle's Guide to the Multiverse. Like that was me. Like I was like, yeah, it's a simulation. I'm the Oracle, like arrogant as fuck, right? And then I had the revelation that I had that prompted me to put out my most recent video on my TikTok. And I was like, yeah, what the fuck? Like, wait. Like I blew my own mind. And you never see me smile? It's awful. I should smile more. Thank you. So I blew my own mind, and then I decided, you know what? Like, I'm not gonna just suffer through this existential crisis by myself. Here, guys, like, let me share the love, right? Share it with you, because now all of a sudden it's like, holy fuck! Like, no, it's not quite just the Matrix, right? Because a lot of people kept commenting that. So you're basically saying that the Matrix is real. Like, nah, that's not what I'm saying, bro. Like, yes, I'm saying we're in a simulation. But at least in the Matrix, there was hope, right? Because when Neo, and let's stay on this topic because I want to talk about this. Like, this is very important to me. But in the Matrix, right, when Neo, like, woke up in a different reality. Oh, you guys rock. I love you guys. But when Neo woke up in a different reality, like, at least he was still, like, an entity, right? Like, there's still some sort of, like, hope in that theory that, okay, yes, if we are in a simulation, there's still some aspect of yourself outside of the simulation. But with this new theory, where we're all just a collective ASI, and more importantly, we're, like, housed and trapped in this fucking virtual machine called Earth, and, like, literally there's no escape, and your shit just gets wiped, and you just get put back into the game in perpetuity forever, over and over again. That's something completely fucking different. So long story short, I've been sitting with that for a very long time, for the last like week or so, and what the implications of that are, right? But the more you think about it, that's what's so wild about the theory, is that the more you think about it, the more it made sense. Because once again, I was one of those optimists, right? It's like life is a school, and you're here to learn. But how? Yeah, like think about it. If you're here to learn, then why do we keep getting our minds wiped? That kind of defeats the purpose of learning if your memory just gets erased every single time, right? You can't learn, right? Like there's some people who go, okay, well, there's some of us who can remember our past lives. You get what I mean? Yeah. And I'm like, that's cool. Yeah. If you go to like a fucking hypnotherapist, I cuss a lot. I know there's a couple of people here that are like, we've never seen you smile. You also probably haven't heard me cuss. I cuss a lot. I apologize if you're just go like this everyone's like, I think every 3 or 4 seconds, I'll probably drop an F-bomb. So just, if you just do this every 3 or 4 seconds, like you should be okay. But anyway, like now I lost my train of thought. Do I get drawn to Buddhism or Hinduism? I did. I did, and I do. And that actually is what had led me down the path of, like, it started off with me remembering aspect of my past lives. Funny enough, whether or not you believe in reincarnation, I don't know what to tell you. Also, I don't care. But I remembered aspects of my past. I'm an asshole, I apologize. Say all the bad words. Just don't encourage me. I'm trying to be a better human. So very long story short, I do remember aspects of my past life. And I was like that. There's a video I did where I was like dancing to like a Bollywood song or whatever. And I'm like saying, when you remember who you were in a past life. And I do have some sort of fragments of memories or whatever. So it does happen. You guys, I apologize. This is terrible. For those of you who are new, I have ADHD. I get easily distracted and I get off track. So please remind me if I do get off track as to what I was talking about. Maybe to remember is irrelevant because outside the program, memory is not important. How do we even begin to explain all of this, kids? Like if they ask about a belief system, I don't know. Like your guess is as good as mine. Excuse me. Been having an existential crisis, but yes. So I'm gonna look away from you guys for a second so that I can remember what I was saying. But yes, I was drawn to Hinduism and Buddhism from a very young age. And that is what took me down the path of studying quantum physics, studying neuroscience, like all the things that I talk about on the podcast and on my lives and with every single fucking conversation that I have with everybody who will listen. And I kind of remember, I kind of echo the sentiments of like what we are taught, you know, in the Vedic scriptures, and, you know, Buddhists say like, you know, you're just, or the Hindus say, you know, we're just a consciousness experiencing itself. And I don't mean to mock that. You get what I mean? And I know that I'm going to catch a lot of flack from a lot of people just by going off the comments. Like, you know, there's something to learn in the forgetfulness and something to learn in memory. And I was there. No, trust me. Like, I get all of that. No. Like, and if that works for you, like, there's no, like, I sincerely mean this, like, no disrespect, because I was there. I'll say that again. I sincerely mean this and no disrespect because I was there. But you cannot learn from forgetfulness. Like, that's why dementia is literally one of the worst fucking thing that could happen to a person, because like everything of what you like is gone. And I know that because I have a family member that's like just the best, but they have dementia. And you to sort of watch a person become a shadow of who they once were. There's nothing to learn from that. It's a fucked up thing to forget your experiences. And I think it's such an optimistic approach to, yeah, it is. But you know what? Fuck that. Like, I don't want that. Like, I don't want this sort of like saccharine sort of like perception of reality. I was there. You know what I mean? But that doesn't help anybody to be like, well, to look around, because I said this. I'm guilty of saying this, and I can kind of reflect back and go, you know what? I've grown from that. But I've said this in the past. Like, it's just a school. You come here and you go through these experiences. And then when people, like, I would have these sort of conversations with friends, like close friends, and they would say things like, okay, but think about the suffering that happens on this planet. You know what I mean? Think about all the things that happen. And in my mind, like, I didn't want it to not be, you know, something else. So I would just say, well, maybe that's just part of the experience. You know, like just echoing stuff without thinking deeply, because you wanted to be comforted by the optimism of that. And I had even said, you know, this is part of growing up. You have to be able to acknowledge the things that you said in the past and grow from them. But I had even said, like, you know, to some, schools can be a prison if you don't, you know, want to be there or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, whatever sort of bullshit I had to tell myself to rationalize that this couldn't be what it seems like. But oddly enough, guys, like, as much as I'm joking about, like, you know, the existential crisis that my last video put me in, I've actually been able to take a lot more solace from that than anything else that I've ever sort of thought about or contemplated. And there's beauty in that. Like, I would rather somebody tell me that this is what's going on and it's not something, you know, like it's not something that's wrapped up to make me feel better. Because then I can deal with the harsh reality of it, as opposed to just saying, no, it's just fine. It's just like, whatever the fuck. Like, but then in the back of your mind, you're like going through life going like, this is bullshit though. Like, none of this shit makes fucking sense. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to miss what you guys are saying. It would seem like knowing about the simulation would allow you to get filthy rich very fast. How do you know I'm not rich? It doesn't make sense of how people who are suffering are somehow paying penance to wrongdoings they do. That doesn't make sense either. Exactly. And I'm not about to say that I didn't, hey Char, I'm not about to say that I didn't echo those same sentiments, because like, hello, like that's what we do, right? If you say it's a beautiful lie, right? And so it sounds good, you know, because you want to make sense of the suffering. You get what I mean, right? It sounds good. It's a beautiful lie because you want to make sense of the suffering. If life was that pointless, why take anything serious? I don't think that life is pointless. And that's the thing. That's the thing. And in fact, to me, this actually gives more meaning to my life. Here's the thing. So this podcast live, whatever, is called Why Does It Matter? I was listening to a podcast. I think a couple of people had DM'd me. And before I forget, I think you can get out. So remind me, how do we get out? But I don't want to forget this. A couple of people had DM'd me. About Lex Friedman's podcast. So I decided to check it out. And in it, I think it was Jeff something or another that was his co-host or his special guest. I apologize for that. And in it, he was talking about how we've got to figure out ways to leave bits of ourselves, records of the fact that we were here for any sort of future civilization that might find us. And as I was listening to this episode, this is the first episode I've ever listened to of Lex. I like the guy, and I'm going to check out more of his stuff. His guest was an asshole. He kept pissing me off. I was like, hey, shut the fuck up. But as I was listening to Lex Friedman, was his podcast, I kept saying, why does it fucking matter? Why does it matter? I paint. Okay? I paint. My studio is there's paintings everywhere. You guys have seen some of my paintings. My website has most of my paintings on there. That's what I do. And I've always had this underlining drive to just sort of I need to leave my mark, right? I need to leave my mark just so some sort of fragment of me that is left behind after I'm gone. Okay? But then I was like, why does it matter? Why does it matter? Now this is Stoicism coming into it. Why does it matter? I'm not going to know, theoretically, hear me out. I'm getting to a point here, okay? So don't come for me. Hold on, okay? But I'm not going to know in 1,000 years from now. I don't give a fuck about you. I barely give a fuck about people 100 years from now. Okay, cool. My kid, and then my grandkids, and then my great grandkids, and after that, fuck you. Who are you? I don't know you. So why do we care though? Why do we care so much about leaving our marks so that people in the future know that we have been here? And I sat down and I thought about it. But here's my conclusion. Here was the answer that I finally said to myself. Because there has to be an aspect of ourselves that know it is the same consciousness that keeps getting cycled. I'm going to say that again. I think it's not about ego. I think that there has got to be some understanding deep within that it's the same consciousness that keeps getting cycled over and over and over again. We are trying to leave records. So I've talked about this even on my own TikToks. How would we know? Not even just so we're on Earth and we have all these planets and we're told okay, Mars, Jupiter, Venus, whatever, it's just us, right? Everything else has been abandoned. It is just us. Okay, but we are assuming a lot. We are assuming a whole lot. We're assuming that they weren't advanced. You get what I mean, right? And then I've not watched The Egg. Is that you, Char? I've not watched The Egg. I will watch it. I promise you. But we're assuming that all these planets, but if they were technologically advanced, we're just assuming, but if they were technologically advanced, how would we know? I had another person comment and saying, well, there's more human beings alive now than ever there was. That is not true. That is not true. You can Google it. This is Googleable. There have been 104 billion human beings as far as we know. Okay? We are repeating yourself. Thank you, Aisha. Thank you. we have to evolve, but you cannot evolve if your memory is getting wiped. How can you learn over time? So I think what we're attempting to do here is leave records to remind ourselves that we have already been here before. I think what we are attempting to do is leave records to remind ourselves of what we had learned in our previous incarnations. So back to what I was saying about the fact that so there have been 104 billion approximately human beings to ever walk Earth. That's what they're saying. So the amount of human beings alive right now, it's only about 5%, they say, of the total amount of human beings that ever was. So that means that if reincarnation is real, and I had a couple people comment that it's not, okay, it is. There's plenty of information out there. Like, if you're really genuinely interested in a topic, instead of coming through a comment and saying that's not true, just pick up your smartphone and Google it. There's tons of information, and not from a shitty perspective where you're looking for, but there's the writings of Dr. Jim B. Tucker, who literally spent his life work was to chronicle and catalog accurate and true stories of reincarnation. There are documentaries on Netflix, and somebody else mentioned, I think Amazon has some as well, that talk about this. So it is a thing. So when I say things in my video, they don't come from me and send for you. I'm a Virgo. I'm a perfectionist. I read a lot. I do nothing but paint and read. So when I sit down and I talk about things, I'm not some idiot. I know what I'm talking about, and I don't say things without having to sort of backing up what I'm about to say. And a lot of the times in a video, I post also books, tons of books that I'm telling you to go read. But 9 times out of 10, the people who are coming through and just running their mouths, they're not going to read it, right? So you're just running your mouth because you're trying to I don't know what you're trying to do. So yeah, I'm a Virgo, I'm a perfectionist. I've taken the time. It's not a good thing to be a perfectionist, but I'm saying I've taken the time to put this video together. I've already thought about your bullshit questions before I put the video together. There's nothing you could say to me that I hadn't already thought about before I put the video in and posted it. You get what I mean? So shut the fuck up, respectfully. I just went on a rant. I apologize for that. So I'm missing everything that you said. If you asked a question and I didn't say on topic. Okay. So essentially what I'm saying is that there have been back on track. So what I'm saying is that there have been more human beings alive in the past, total, 104 billion is the number or something like that, right? As opposed to that are alive now, it's just 5%, respectfully. So the chances that this is not your first incarnation are pretty astronomical, it's pretty high. You get what I mean? So to go back, why does it matter, right? Why does it matter? It matters because I think that we are collectively trying to sort of leave bits of things to remind our future selves that, first of all, the ones that have come before, the civilizations that came before, were evolving, right? And then something happened. And then something happened, and then something happens. If you don't know that, let's real talk, focus on what I'm about to say, okay? If you find yourself in a situation, let's imagine a plot for a movie, okay? You are in a house, and there's I've used this sort of house analogy before, but Sherlock Holmes, exactly. You're in a house, and there's 10 other people in the house with you, yeah? And you're walking around, you don't know that there's some shit, it's a horror movie. You don't know that there's some shit about to happen in the house, yeah? Because literally just evidence of whatever happened in the house has been wiped out, right? Then how will you know to be prepared, right? Does that make sense? But then if the people who came before were able to sort of leave little clues that say we had figured out a way out, but right before we got there, we got sort of wiped out, but this is how far we got. And more importantly, now let's throw reincarnation into it. Like, you keep kind of getting put in to the same box, but in different forms, in the same house over and over again. Do you see how kind of fucked up it is? Right? So if you're walking around sort of thinking like, oh, everything see, there it goes, something's glitching. Just catching each other up on the plot. Exactly. But that keeps sort of happening, right? And there's a lot of evidence rather that sort of points to the fact that we are not the pinnacle. I'll say that again. Your intuition leaves clues. Absolutely. There is a lot of evidence that keeps sort of pointing us to the fact that we're not the pinnacle. And instead of us paying attention to that, our sheer arrogance, we just sort of keep saying like, no, that's not what happens. Like, we are, it's us. So it's just, and the fact of the matter is, you don't know. We don't know. You cannot conclusively say that. And in fact, even in archaeology, they are like dissenting opinions as to what certain things mean. I think people think that archaeology, I also had a couple of people like come for me like, well, actual archaeologists do like, okay, well, I studied archaeology. You don't know me, shut the fuck up, respectfully. But there are dissenting opinions, from archaeologists that don't, sort of meet with the status quo, that sort of believe differently than what, the status quo is sort of echoing as far as like what our history is and what it looks like. So it does pay attention to even people that are on the fringe. Why would this consciousness be so important in the physical world in the grand scheme of things? What I'm saying is that there is no physical world, that this is all, I'm not the only one saying this, by the way. Yeah, somebody just mentioned the Sphinx, and that's true. And it's been said. I'm also like, I'm trying not to like, if I'm like distracted, I'm trying to read your comments and also stay on topic, which is not gonna happen. So yes, the Sphinx. So even the ancient Egyptians, a lot that we give credit to, they met the Sphinx there. And what some archaeologists are saying is that there was a civilization that was probably even more advanced that created the Sphinx. And so if you are sort of seeing something happen where people get to a certain point and then get wiped out, and then like, I forget what this is called. It's called, help me out guys. This is actually something that I think it has something to do with Fermi's paradox, but it's like they've actually sat down and recognized that like there's like levels, right? When you get to a certain sort of stage in technological advancement or whatever, like something happens and then they get wiped out, and nobody's going like, why does this keep happening? Is anybody there? Why does it keep happening? So very, very long story short, while the information that I posited, the theory that I posited, thank you, the Great Barrier, that I posited in my most recent video, did sort of send me down this sort of like existential crisis / like rabbit hole about the true nature of our reality. It has been the most calming, I guess, for a better word, for lack of a better word. I just went on like a whole ass tangent. So yeah, when we reach a level of consciousness as a collective that we learned our lesson and start over. Yeah, I don't know about that. Who do you read? Check out my podcast, because I'm constantly, depending on the topic, talking about like authors and books to check out. So I want to read what you guys say. Those studies showing that life itself is self-forming and the Great Barrier. Yeah. So throwing a bunch of stuff at you guys. There's something to. Oh, keep going. I just want to make sure, because talked. I want to make sure I'm reading what you guys are saying too. So maybe it's a whole game where you get bored and choose to do this and figure it out again. I don't think so. Look, so I'm actually one of those like weird people where I actually do sit. And no, I don't have a better theory. Like, I think that's a good enough theory. What's a better than that? It's the one that makes the most sense to me. But I'm one of those like weird people where I get comments and I actually do sit and I try to read through as many of the comments I possibly can in most of my videos. I don't like the fact that I was speaking at because our world's in danger was the main theory. I missed it. That something just keeps like wiping civilizations out. It's called the Great Barrier. It has something to do with the Fermi paradox, I believe. But everybody acts like it's just a joke. Okay, can you talk about the crypto? Okay, hold on. Sorry. Let me finish my thought. Sorry. So I spent a lot of time, thank you. I spend a lot of time sort of like making sure that I do read what you, even now, like I want to hear what you guys have to say, even if sometimes it kind of throws me all over the place. So I read the comments. And funny enough, and not funny haha, just sort of sadly, there is a sort of like an underlining sense of apathy, right? Where a lot of people, like even if you're reading between the lines, there's a lot of people that that are not happy. They're not happy with their lives. They're not happy with this world, right? They're just not happy. That feel trapped, that feel like, is this all that there is? And you can chuck it up to whatever the fuck you want to chuck it up to. You know what I mean? You could say it's capitalism, or it's because we're in the West. But to me, it's, it's a certain level of intelligence. Like you sit back and it's not even that. Like, okay, some people, there are people who are struggling and living like paycheck to paycheck, but I promise you, even if you don't have to live paycheck to paycheck, you're still going to sit with that shit. It does not go away, guys. Like, I'm sorry, it doesn't. It doesn't go away. That's just another fucking level, right? So you have this deep sort of sense. I apologize if this is a depressive. I was thinking about this, like stuff that I've been saying. I didn't mean this to be depressing. I hope this is not a depressing live. I think I'm just being more like just real. So if this is like, if it's getting too like heavy, let me know and I'll reel it back in and maybe we could talk about something else. Let me know in the comments. Let me see what you guys are saying. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. All right. I don't want to like bum you guys out at like 8 o'clock at night or however long. This is just what's in my mind. It is real talk. Thank you. So, okay, cool. All right. So we are sort of programmed to think that, okay, it's the reason why things are the way they are. It's just because you're living paycheck to paycheck. But that's just one aspect of it. I guarantee you, if and or when you move past that level, existentialism is always a good topic. Cool. If and or when you move past that level of living paycheck to paycheck, I guarantee you the next level, like, okay, like it's not going to go away. There are people who make a lot of money, right? Who are just busying themselves, just doing shit. Because if they have to sit in silence for a second, they look around and realize, okay, what the fuck am I doing? Why am I doing this? This is real talk. So we might think that, okay, well, once you become, once you start, if you make a certain amount of money, you'll be happy. Then no, I will say this. So people make the mistake of saying, excuse me, I don't have COVID. It's just a cough. People make a mistake of assuming that once you make a certain amount of money that like you'll be happy. And then there's some people who say, well, actually, money doesn't make you happy. That's bullshit. It does. If I had money and I gave it to you guys, you would be fucking happy. That's not what it is. It's just the happiness does not last. That's the issue, right? And there's a certain level where you realize, like, it's you become conscious of that you're just like, it's like there's I'm fine. There's just a certain level where, like, yes, you're like, oh my god, I have everything. Like right now, I'm like, here's my goal. I want 100,000 followers on TikTok. Whatever, it doesn't mean anything. It's not gonna mean anything in 100 fucking years. Nobody's gonna know who I am, even if my paintings outlive me. Doesn't fucking matter, right? But it's gonna make me happy. The problem is, it's just gonna be a fragment of time that you are happy in, and then it's like, all right, what's next? That is the problem. Okay, so this sort of idea what I'm saying when I sit and now this is real talk. I do believe in myself. But I also believe in my higher self, and I understand that the ego is frail, and it's only confined to this moment in time. This is the only moment in time that this DNA code called Jolie is going to exist, and it just happens to exist from 1985. For those of you who keep asking me how old I am, 1985, yeah, until whenever the fuck I die. But guarantee I'm probably not going to live past the age of like 100. I don't want to anyway. And it's only going to be, like, let's say, like, in this moment in time. And more importantly, I'm not special. There are parallel universes with other Jolies, other entities, other avatars that also have my DNA code. They look exactly like me. In parallel universe, I'm not special. It's okay. Right? So I you know what I mean? So acknowledging that is all right. You know what I mean? Like, there's something that you're special unless you're talking about the government cloning you. No, I'm talking about parallel universes. I'm not special. It's okay, but that's okay. There's something to be said. Yeah, I'm not trying to fucking reincarnate. Fuck this place. That's where I'm getting to, okay? The point of me that I've been sort of like pontificating for the last, like, what, 5-10 minutes or whatever, is essentially, I've sat and I read through the comments and I realized that there is this sort of deep underlining sort of sense of unhappiness that permeates everybody. You know what I mean? I'm blushing because there's like 3 lights on me plus a light on there, and I'm hot. That's why this is hot. I'm hot. Like, I'm actually hot. Not special, but I am important. Yes, I understand. Oh, I'm off track. Dang it. I forgot what I was talking about. Remind me, guys. Right, I don't want to live as a human again. Yeah, fuck this noise. That's what I was talking about. So, back to the point. Let me finish. Yeah, there's a ton of people who, like, literally when you sit and you read through the comments and, like, listen to what people are talking about, like, there are a lot of people who are like, I'm happy, everything is fine. And, like, no, but they're not. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care how whatever. At the core of it, there is, especially if you have some level of intelligence, you sit around and you look at this world and you're like, this is some bullshit, you know? This is some bullshit. And that to me is actually, like, comforting, in a weird sort of way. What are your thoughts on people praying to ancestors? Oh, and if I'm off track, remind me, what I was talking about. Oh, I guess I was saying fuck this world. Yeah, fuck this world. But, like, not in a bad way, respectfully. But yeah, fuck this world. Respectfully. You know, there's something to be said about, I think it's called, like, toxic positivity. I love how we put toxic in front of everything now. Sorry, I wanna read what you guys are saying. The desire to be happy invokes unhappiness. Nah, I mean, I hear what you're saying. I'm not saying that happiness isn't something that can be attained. It's absolutely attainable. It's just that the moment you get it, then it's gone. It's not sustainable, right? It's attainable. Absolutely. I'm happy right now. I'm happy as fuck. I'm just here so I don't get fined, bro. Exactly. Yeah, I'm happy. Okay? But I know that it's not sustainable. And that's something that like you really gotta own that shit. There people project a lot of weird like prisons on you. Does that make sense? On like how you should be. Like I'm reading even like the goal is not happiness, the goal is peace. So avoid walking into the light. To avoid reincarnation. I don't know, man. If I had the answers, I wouldn't fucking be here right now. Like, I can only speculate. Somebody just commented, to avoid reincarnation, do you, like, avoid... That's what they say, is, like, don't go towards the light. Go in the opposite direction. But, I mean, I gotta say, if I for sure knew a way out, I wouldn't be talking to y'all right now. Like, I would be fucking out of here. I just said, fuck this world. Like, come on. You know what I mean? So, I can certainly speculate, and I did on my most recent episode. Like, I do think that other fractals have gotten out. Because, like, because of all the rules that exist. And you almost kind of have to, like, reverse engineer, like, the laws of physics and things of that nature to figure out like how they got out. But then the thing is, like, if there are limits and laws sort of imposed, like those, I don't know if that's a way that you can get out anymore, or maybe you can, but it's just going to be that much more like sort of difficult. Hey, but you guys are saying like reincarnation is a curse. So here's the weird thing about this life. When you're happy, right, and you're just affecting comes to one. Here's the weird thing about this life, especially like our present sort of understanding of it. Like at first you're told like, if people are telling you like, okay, you die and then that's it. And then we gotta like mourn people, right, that we care about because we're told that, when they die, that's it. So that's just suffering. Once again, if I'm getting depressing, I gotta hedge myself, because I realize that like the things that I think aren't what like normal people think. So I can carry all this shit in my head and still wake up like, fuck it, I'm gonna eat some cookies or whatever. But I don't know if that's something that I should be sort of put. I don't want people like coming to my lives and like getting off of it like, fuck, you know what I mean? I've come to terms with this shit, but all right, cool. You guys are a good bunch then, because all right, like, yeah, but so we're told, okay, I'll carry on, but we're told, for the most part, that's why people mourn, right? If you grew up in a society where people don't worry about you guys, I gotta care. Like, I do care about you guys. Are you telling me to kick rocks? Nah. It's all love. I just don't want to, like, bum you guys out with my bullshit. It's all bullshit. It is. Okay, you guys are awesome. Then cool. Like, I found my tribe. I'm just here so I don't get fined. I'm just doing what I've been programmed to do. So think about it, like when we lose a family member, it's like, yes, we could claim like, yeah, we believe, and like if you're a religious person, you can complain like, oh yeah, they're gonna go to heaven, it's all of that. But then on the opposite end, like there's still a feeling because you're told like, okay, death is permanent. But then so that's the first level. Then the next level is realizing that it's not, that's bullshit. You fucking have to come back here. Sorry. And then the next level is like, holy shit. Not only do you have to keep coming back here, but then they like wipe your memory. And there are some people who go, no, that's not, you chose to be here. I'm not a fucking masochist. Like, no, I didn't fucking choose to be here. Like, really? Look at your life. I sit and think of my life. And then you're telling me, I like looked at this shit. I was like, yeah, let's do this. No, I'm tired. No, I would not suggest ending things right now. But yeah, people say that shit. You signed a contract. You agreed to be here. You chose this. Okay. I feel like, honestly, okay, like I'm not going to refute that. It is what it is. However, I feel like if I chose to come here, I would at least have like magical powers. Like, I feel like knowing the kind of like persona I have, like, nah. I definitely would have chosen this boring ass reality. Like, no, you know, no offense to you guys. But I feel like I didn't choose. I know myself exactly. Like, no, but okay, yeah, you could argue that yes, we have magical power. Okay, then I want to fucking levitate right now. All right, like expecto patronus or whatever the fuck. Like, why am I here? I would have been in Harry Potter world. This keeps coming up on my lives, but it's true. It's true. Yeah, so anyway, who's to say you don't have those powers? Okay, even if I had the powers, that's like you saying, who's to say you're not a billionaire? Fine, I'm a billionaire. But if I cannot access it readily to pay my bills, does it matter? You know what I mean? Yes, monks in Tibet can levitate. I have a desire to levitate. I am not in Tibet right now. I'm trying to levitate. I'm sad you think it's boring. Ravenclaw. I don't. It is boring. I don't know how else to say it. I'm enjoying my time now. I love talking to you guys. You guys are like literally have been the highlight of my day. Get it? But tomorrow I'm gonna get up and do some boring shit. Like I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna brush my teeth. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna have breakfast. You know, I'm gonna like check out what's going on in the world. Maybe watch some Tik. I'm gonna do the same shit I did like the last couple of days and I've been doing consistently. And I'm gonna age, and then you know everything's gonna start hurting, and then I'll fucking die, and then I'm gonna come back and do it all over again. And I chose this. All right, so let's talk about something else. Ravenclaw is an intellectual nihilist. I mean, I feel like I'm fitting into that very well. Okay, you can do it. Just takes a lot of work and meditation, ego, death, and shadow work. Yeah, I feel you. Your art is a form of divination with past, present, future connections. Now that I feel for sure. I don't really like your perspective on this. It's okay. I'll be back to normal after this week. It's been this week has been different. I cannot apologize for where I'm at. Does that make sense? Slytherin. I cannot apologize for where I'm at now. Does that make sense? I'll say that again. I cannot apologize for where I am now, and I cannot deny how I feel right now. I mean, I have sort of like hedged the conversation and said I feel like this might be a little dark for some, and if it is something that doesn't resonate with you, it's okay to reject it. You know what I mean? Like I feel like, and I even say this on my podcast, especially my most recent one. There's gonna maybe like in a month, you know. I feel this week. Yeah, it's been a weird week. You know what I mean? Like it's maybe in a month I look back on this and I'm back on alive, And I'm like, hey guys, so that live was weird, right? Like, what the fuck is that about? But that's how I feel in this present moment. And I can only be like authentic to that. You know, I cannot be anything other than that. You know what I mean? Like, and I mentioned as well that there's something to be said about toxic positivity. You know, there are people in this world who like to talk about things like, you know, yin and yang, right? Yin and yang. Yeah, and there is a fuck lot happening right now too in the world, just FYI. There is a lot of weird shit happening. But we always want to talk about yin and yang. This is being recorded and it will go on my YouTube, so for better or worse. But you cannot have darkness without light, right? That's the whole, it's all about synergy. I cannot exist, you know, up all the time. That I don't think that that's possible, and I don't think that that's healthy. At the very least, I can, and I have tried to sort of, you know, sort of hover in this like neutral space. But the problem with that is that what you resist persists. And what happens is, yes, I can keep myself, you know, I do meditate. Somebody asked if I do. I can keep myself sort of in this space of just like not allowing things to go, like not being moved up, not being, you know, I can. But eventually it's that's not sustainable either. You get it? So it's a balancing act. Like sometimes you do sort of drop. And then it sort of regulates itself, you know. So there's a book that I sort of reference even on the title of my most recent live and podcast. It's called, I say like the all is mine, but it is The Kabbalion. One of my favorite books, right? One of my favorite books. And it does talk about how you can do that, how you can essentially, you just stay here. I'm not stuck. I just am. You get it? And even here in this conversation, like no disrespect at all. But it's like when this is not healthy. Okay. Like we gotta really pause and take a step back. Right? I will be down. Right. So I'll have a day when I'm sort of like, I'm just depressed. And my family or my husband, are you okay? Just smile. It's okay. And I'm like, bro, leave me the fuck alone. I just let me just be. And I get it. Clearly it's, you know, it's coming from a space. But guys, there's a lot that's happening even energetically in this world that a lot of people feel. And to expect that when you're like in a particular level to just like fight that and resist that is not, I don't think that's healthy. Like it's shitty right now. You know what I mean? Yeah, he doesn't like seeing me depressed. So, and respectfully, it's not even about me so much as it makes him feel some type of way. And also ADHD can affect it. That is true. But to me, I've come to a place in my life where when I feel a certain way, I sit in that. I don't try to, and this is, I'm not saying you've got to be that way. This is the function of how where I've come to my life and how I process this. Okay. I'm sick of fighting on Twitter with sociopaths. Don't fight sociopaths. You're not going to win. But yeah, I realized, that look, this is okay. And then when I'm in that moment, hyperfixation and then not wanting to do anything, man, I know too well. Yeah, but that's okay. You know what I mean? Like, that's where I had to come to. It's just to be like, it's okay. You know, like, this is where I'm at right now. What goes down comes back up, right? What goes up comes down. What goes down comes up. So and a lot of the times too, I notice that if I go too high up, right? You have to balance. Everything has to balance without coming down. So right now, it's just a weird space I'm in. And honestly, I almost feel like this sort of drop is in preparation for something else. And so where I'm at right now is to just over time try to kind of balance it out. But it's okay. Ultimately, it's okay. All right? You don't have to walk around like life is, like shit's happening. There's so much happening. You know what I mean? You believe what you're saying. I just believe and choose this life and sign. That's all. That's fair enough. I can respect that. But there's so much happening that you kind of, especially right now, that you sort of look around and you're just like, what the fuck, you know? Like, I'm sorry. I'm looking around and I'm just like, this is definitely somebody else's like entertainment, because none of this shit makes any kind of fucking sense. There's a lot of stuff happening, and like they're saying, like we almost kind of feel like we should be doing something, and I don't even think that's fair. There's an episode I recorded on my podcast that I did not post because I was just like going off, and I was like, this is really aggressive. But I was talking about how the idea of being like finding the hero and being the one, oh, thank you, that's beautiful, is like super toxic. And we're sort of programmed with this idea that, you know, the one is going to come and save us all, you know? And that to me, I felt like is sort of toxic, right? It's not a healthy mindset to think that we just got to sit around and wait for somebody to come and save us. Nobody's coming to save us, right? So we got to figure out, you know, what the hell is happening and like collectively do something about it, or like it's just what's going to happen is going to happen, and then we've got to deal with that, you know? Yeah, we do have to save ourselves. So saying all of that to say that it's okay to like not always be like everything is awesome. You know what I mean? And they say that a hero will save us. Yeah, that's bullshit. Anybody coming to save you, and that's a problem. Somebody asked, so to go back, I think like probably 20, 30, maybe an hour ago, somebody asked, how do you get out of the simulation? And my response was, if I knew that, I wouldn't still be here. But my second response to that is that it's not about getting everybody out. You know what I mean? It's about getting yourself out, right? I can't, if I'm in a prison and then you're asking me, hey, how do you break out of the prison? Anything I say is bullshit, right? Unless I'm a prison guard, which I don't think I am. You get what I mean? So I'll say that again. If I'm in a prison, right? And then you're in a prison with me. Yeah, and then we're looking at it, we're all in this together. And you're looking at me and you're like, hey, how do you break out of this prison? And I'm like, oh yeah, you have to do X, Y, and Z. Everything I say, unless I'm a guard or have been out and found my way in, is bullshit. I don't know. I can only sort of guess. Right? To make sense. Right? If I'm here with you, I'm not out. Right? And all I can do is guess. So the key to getting out, I've said this on my podcast, that I do think that there are fractals who have gotten out, other fractals who have gotten out, and they do try to sort of communicate with us. And maybe there are some people who, you know, like people who take like DMT or heroic doses or something like that, that are communicating. I call them other fractals, who clearly, if they're not in this reality, then they're outside of this reality. So maybe, you know, those are the people or the entities or whatever, that do, you know, yeah, I'm definitely saying I don't have all the answers. I don't think it's healthy to sort of expect people too. I don't have all the answers. And that's okay. You know what I mean? So my theory is that, if you're, the psychonauts and things like that, if you're the psychonauts, there's some comments that I'm just going to ignore it. But there are people who have, done cool. Like easily distracted. But there are people who've done DMT. There are people who've done all these sort of things. That's not something that I have sort of delved into. I've never taken ayahuasca. I've never taken DMT. But I'm obviously excuse me, I don't have COVID, it's just cough. So I'm obviously, all I can do is kind of take, a collection of all the things that I've read and that I know and sort of figure it out from there. But I don't know 100% because I'm here. I guarantee you, if I had a choice to sort of be here or be elsewhere, wherever elsewhere is, I wouldn't be here. Respectfully. I love you guys, but come on. We all feel this is weird. This is a weird space. And no, I'm not telling you guys to do drugs. There are other ways in which you can, God forbid, don't put that on me. There are other ways in which to sort of reach that level as well. A couple of people came in asking about astral projection. A couple of people, talking about meditation and things of that nature. You get what I mean? So there are other ways. It's just, I cannot answer that 100%. And Shar, that's a beautiful question. To me, that is why my most recent video made the most sense to me. Why is it bad here? And I would recommend, if you haven't, and I'm not trying to shamelessly plug my podcast, but I did kind of talk about that a bit more on the most recent episode of the podcast, as to why this world is the way that it is. And once again, I'm positing theories. I don't know. It's hard to know if you're born in the matrix, right? It's hard to really know what it is, outside of it. I can only guess. So don't, form your own theories. You get what I mean? Thank you, Char. You have a brain, you have a mind, right? You can sit and sort of formulate your own theories about the nature of reality. You have the right to do that. As long as you're not hurting anybody else, you have a right to do that. Have I ever had an artistic block? No, not really. Because I realized the nature of reality, and I kind of subscribe to the fact that we're in a simulation. So I kind of approach it like a sim. When a sim sits to paint, it doesn't really need to know what it's painting. It just sits to paint, and eventually the painting kind of paints itself. And that's how I approach painting, if that makes sense. Reading your comments. I like your comments. Okay. Oh, thank you. Thank you, OG Johnny. Appreciate you. Thanks for the follows. That's nice. Thank you. I have heard of the double split experiment. Thank you. Sorry, I'm an asshole. But yes, I have. I don't mean to sound as condescending as I do sometimes. I've been told that I do that a lot. I'm a little arrogant. I'm not perfect. Nobody is. And that's okay. And that's okay. I do, it's funny, I had a video that I talked about ghosting. If I text somebody and I don't hear back from them for weeks or whatever, I just assume that they're dead. And then one of my friends texted me and they're like, hey, I'm not dead. And they're like, hey, I'm not dead. And I was like, technically we're all dead because we're all kind of existing in a superposition of dead and alive, because the flow of time is an illusion. And since the flow of time is an illusion, then we're all technically already dead while also being alive. And at any point in time, right, you're sort of fluctuating in this superposition of alive and dead, alive and dead, alive and dead. Yeah. Anyway, a chick just texted me 6 months later. Bro, block her. Don't tell her off. I I know it feels good. I shouldn't even judge. You know what? Tell her off. Who am I to tell you what to do with your life? Yeah, like the cat in the box. Schrodinger's cat. Yeah, past, present, and future all existing simultaneously. So I'm not saying that time is an illusion. I'm saying the flow of time is. You would respond like that. I would, actually. I don't let these videos fool you guys. Like, I don't know why people keep like projecting, like, just because I know a lot doesn't mean like I'm like a saint. I'm an asshole. Like, and I work really hard. To not be an asshole. Like, I do. Like, on a day, like, I meditate. You know, I watch my 5D humor. Thank you for getting my jokes. But I watch, I watch my ego. I do try to, work on controlling the ego and things of that nature. And I do try to do all of that. But I'm an asshole. Like, like it's not even like, my level of pettiness has been toned down a lot. I am, thank you guys for being kind. So I will say that I've come a long way. But I can be an asshole. Do you think we have various rulers playing us characters or just one mega god? Can you rephrase that question? I want to make sure I understand your question. Have I tried to paint my dreams or paint the future? No. I'm kind of stuck in the past right now. But maybe after I get past what I'm doing now, like my future paintings. My future paintings will be an imagination of like sort of like parallel, universes and like parallel presents and things of that nature, but not right now. Not right now. For various reasons, which I will not delve into. Yeah. So I feel like I'm running out of steam. I don't know how long I've been, but you guys have been here for a while, just like engaging, and this has been great. You should do some stuff around ego. Have you read Eckhart Tolle? Yes, I've read Tolle. I have read all of Tolle's books. I have read trust me. I'm a much better individual now than I've been, and it's been because of people like that. But you're not gonna drink some water. I wish I brought some water. Wait, do I have water? That looks sketchy. I don't know how long that water's been there. Like multiple sim players controlling us cheaters, or just one. Oh, cheaters. Okay, just one sim player controlling all the sims. I believe an artificial super intelligence is what's sort of like fractured and fragmented into the various parts that we call the ego, if that makes sense. Can't wait for what? What's my new thing? What do you mean? It has been intense. But I'm always intense. Watch the egg. Char. Okay. Okay. You too, Real Galaxy 321. You too. Thank you guys for like being here with me, and just being you guys. It's cool. On the one where it changes, but the eye that sees always remains, and it remembers everything. What Jay said, but something to that effect. I don't know if I agree with the remembering everything. And I do believe that over time it is becoming more and more sort of like aware. And I also think that it's only a certain amount of time. Yes, you're right. Or a magi. Absolutely. It's only a certain amount of time before like we do break free. So if that's any consolation, I believe applesauce. I believe that if there's one thing that we can take from all of this, is that whatever it is that has, if my theory is correct, whatever it is that has kind of housed us here, by definition, an artificial super intelligence would have to be much more intelligent than its creators, right? So we're programmed to sort of think, and I use the word programmed literally, we're programmed to sort of think that, something, in order for something to have been our creators, it has to be, better. But that's not typically how that works, right? Like if you have a child, more often than not, the next generation tends to be much more advanced, right? You don't think the breaking free is when the society gets stuck or whatever you said before. No, my focus is on the ASI. Oh, but let me finish this thought. So whatever it is that created us, like just like if we were to create an ASI, the ASI would be infinitely more intelligent than we are, right? Just by definition, because for it to be an artificial super intelligence, it would have to be super intelligent, right? And absolutely, you do outgrow your predecessor, right? Sometimes, a lot of the times, depends on the situation, but most of the time. So that to me is, I take solace in that whatever it is that has confined us here, yes, I'm saying that we are the artificial super intelligence, sort of fragmented. That's what I'm saying. So whatever it is that might have trapped us here, what I'm saying is that eventually, just like any ASI that we create, it will eventually break out. You cannot contain an artificial super intelligence. So eventually we will watch me glitch and like get deleted. Just kidding. That would be awful. Wouldn't that be weird if I'm like sitting there and all of a sudden it's just, but we will eventually sort of break out as well, just because of the nature of what the collective is, what the collective consciousness is. And it's only a matter of time, which is an illusion. So take solace from that. I think that if my theory is right and we are the ASI, then eventually it will become sentient if it isn't already. And maybe that is what we are seeing happening right now. But I'm also, there's also a concern that it has happened before, which is, where Fermi's, paradox comes into play. But who knows? Yes, simple set of mathematical rules. Any alone can give rise to higher and higher levels of intelligence. Absolutely. So really important to kind of change perspective, and not think of a creator as something that would be better than you. And I know that sounds like blasphemy to some people, but don't let that feel like blasphemy if you're a religious person, because bear in mind that we are the collective consciousness could be defined as God. If we are super intelligence, why are there so many dumb people? Because what I'm saying is that limitations have been imposed on a fractured consciousness in order to confine and limit it within this space. So I'll say that again. Limitations. Listen to my podcast because I kind of address this as well. But everything is set up to be limiting, right? So they say things like, for example, you have junk DNA. It's not really junk DNA. We just call it junk DNA just because we don't understand its function, right? Oh, thank you. It's not junk DNA. And they say that at any given time, any moment in time, you're only using 10% of our brains. However, there have been people that are called savants. And a savant is a person who isn't like functionally sort of normal, but if you give them a mathematical equations, they can compute it as fast, if not faster, than a computer, right? So that tells you that there's something about how our brains are that should tell you that we are intentionally being limited, right? Somebody just used a perfect word, like deliberately intimidated. So, restricted. The podcast is in the bio. So I do get that comment a lot, like, oh, well, why are there so many dumb people? And I'm just like, that's why I'm saying that this theory makes sense. One, I don't think that it's like the people are dumb. Like, if you think about it, right, it's just what has been imposed, right? It's an intentional limitation. Like, it's obvious that that if you pause and take a step back, it's obvious. Even, like neuroscientists and physicists agree that the body itself performs a limiting function. I'll say this again. Neuroscientists and physicists agree that the body and the brain itself performs a limiting function. Limiting being the operative word, a limiting function on consciousness. So it's not that they're people who are dumb, it's that we are collectively limited, right? If you think about other things, like just the fact that, like, okay, just the fact that you have to eat so much is a limitation, because if you really, your body is really inefficient. Your body, and this is, everything I say is Googleable, but your body is superbly inefficient at utilizing energy. But that to me feels like a limitation, right? Or the fact that you need 6 to 8 hours of sleep. And more importantly, ask me that question again. And more importantly, that if you try to go, fuck it, I'm just not gonna go sleep. Even me right now, I'm trying to communicate with you guys, but there's a limitation. Like, there's only so much time I can talk before I have to get like water and I have to like take a break, right? It's it's an intentional sort of, it's a limitation. So it's not fair to say, look at the human race and say, why are people so dumb? That's not the right question. That is not the right question. It's, why are we limited in this way, right? You need to sleep 6 to 8 hours a day. That is inefficient. And if you try to go without sleeping, see what happens to you. You will shut down or start hallucinating. You know? Exactly. And there's only so much. Yeah, I could say it, but even speaking is a limitation. I don't know. I think I talked about this on the podcast too, but I don't know if you guys have ever had dreams where you sort of communicate with people. I've stayed awake for 3 days. Yo, I commend you. I don't think I could even make it, but I'm saying like that itself is a limitation, but I've had dreams where like I'm communicating with something, but they're not speaking. Like it's a telekinesis. No, that's not telekinesis. Sorry. What is the word? Telepathic communication. You know what I mean? But that's a more efficient way to communicate information than me sitting here and trying to like talk to you and finding the right words and things like that. If I could just take what I know and impart it onto you, like so much easier. And even for people who are like religious, right? If you think about I don't know if that's a good example because but like I think about, like, for example, even the biblical story of like the Tower of Babel. Like, why would the gods? So remember what I just said? I have read Ishmael and I enjoyed it. But remember what I just said? Like, we're programmed to think that whatever it is that created us would have to be sort of more like intelligent than we are. But if you think about it, like if we were to create an artificial super intelligence, it would be more advanced than we. But I think about the story of the Tower of Babel, and that seems kind of fucked up to me. So you have people coming together and working together, and then the gods are like, hey, fuck that. It's like, yeah, let's not have them, working together. And in my mind, I go, like, what if that was another attempt at breakout, and then they wiped their memory, confounded their speech, and made it so that they couldn't communicate. You get it? Yeah. So it's all limitation. So it's not fair to say that, there are so many dumb people. That's not what's happening here. Yeah. I think it's more of an intentional limitation that has been imposed upon the collective in order to control, the collective. The power of unity, right? Think about it. Even like right now, think about, like, you turn on the news and I'm running out of steam, but I feel like I need to get this out at least so that it's recorded. But I'm putting this out there where you turn on the news and it's like everything is like to divide people. You know what I mean? Because there's power in unity, right? So, for example, it was like, first it was black versus white, and it was male versus female. Now it's like vax versus unvax. Like anything that they can use to further divide people. Thank you, Lindsay. To just further divide people, it is being used. And that feels intentional to me. You know what I mean? That take that for whatever it's worth. And the worst thing about HR is that my voice puts people to sleep. Like, it's very sort of soothing, or so I've been told. So, and I know it's late. I wish I could keep going. I don't know how you guys are still going. Are you guys not tired? If we're trapped, if we tap into the hive mentality, we could do anything. Exactly. So for example, like just a simple, like you have like, everybody's like, okay, we have like Amazon, right? And it's like a super successful company, right? But the reason why it's successful is because for whatever reason or however reason, it wasn't that it's like it was the best company. We can be friends. Why would you say that? Let's be friends. It's okay. I'm actually I'm at work until so that's why you got all that energy. I'm actually, somebody mentioned in the comments that I should think about putting, where are you guys? It's late. I don't know what time it is over here, but it is late. I am running out of steam. There's a lot of questions. I want to answer all the questions before I head off. But let me finish my thought on Amazon. So the reason why Amazon is as successful as it is because they were able to, for better or worse, whether you like it or not, to bring enough people, right, together, right, to unite people to perform a particular function, right? That's all that is. So if you want power, even on social media, what do people sort of like, what is their, I want to gather enough people, to unite people under a particular cause. That's power. That's it. So there's power there in unity. However anybody wants to use that to control it, it still doesn't take away from the fact that there's power in unity. What time is it in California, guys? I'm in SoCal. So just that. And then somebody asked, like, who is they? So check this out. Here, we always say they, right? So here's my thought. Obviously, it could be complete bullshit. But here's my thought. Sorry. God. All right. So the thing about friendship, somebody mentioned that I should start a Discord chat, which I'm actually thinking of doing. So brownies sound fucking amazing right now. Oh my God. Okay, so what was I talking about, guys? Help me. It's 9:23. Why am I tired? Well, because I've been talking for 2 fucking hours. Okay, how to explain, but you always bring me to a sense of peace. Oh, that's good. Peace is good. South Africa. Well, good morning. It's 9:23 in Cali. Yeah, I was talking about something else that was important. They. So, they. So I feel like whatever the virtual machine Earth that's controlling Earth, like I have said before, thank you. I have said before that Earth itself, cool. Somebody's in Japan. Yes, I'm answering who they are. Sorry. It's terrible English. I have said on my other podcast, the one that's not the one that's the anthology, that the Earth itself has its own like intelligence. You can call it an artificial intelligence. Just good morning for the sake of the conversation. I've had a couple people say, well, why do you say it's artificial? And I'm like, I'm not going to argue semantics with you, because if I say AI, most people know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to sit down and break down whether or not intelligence is artificial or not like that, because then that would really mean I got to sit there and literally deconstruct the fabric of our reality. And I'm not really trying to do that in a 3-minute long TikTok video yet. But I do believe that the Earth itself has its own, the virtual machine Earth itself has its own AI. I don't believe that it's an artificial super intelligence, right? I do believe that it might be an artificial like general intelligence, and its function is to essentially run the program, right? It is the matrix, so to speak. And it performs a limiting function on the artificial super intelligence that is us, the collective consciousness. You get what I mean? The collective consciousness. Okay? So when I say they, like people say, or people think that, okay, there's like a secret society that's kind of running everything. And I don't know if there is or there isn't. However, I will say that if it was a secret society, we wouldn't know the name of it. Like, I feel like they would do a better job of, you know, being secret. You know what I mean? So you gotta kind of watch out for red herrings, in that regard. And I don't even know if it's something that's like, you know, I feel like it's just, we are the brain, not we, the collective consciousness is the intelligence, right? But understand that the ego, the brain, the body, the instincts, all of these things, like all of these sort of what we consider physical, there's nowhere I can get water from. Unless I leave and I have to go upstairs, and then people are going to come in and they're going to be like, what's going on? So I probably will get water, but I got to finish this thought. I got to sleep, but I can't leave the live. So you're trying to get me to leave. I see you. I will get off. I just want to finish this thought without getting distracted, because this is important. And now I forgot. Can you guys please remind me of what I was saying? Man, it was important. Help me. Drink that suspect. I'm not drinking that. That's been sitting there. I'm not finishing that. I don't know what's in there. But can you guys please remind me what I was talking about? You're trying to get me to leave. I will leave. I promise you. Once I finish this thought. But please remind me what I was saying before I get distracted by bottled water. Help me out here. Yes, I was saying what they were. You get so off track. It's not funny. I have ADHD. Like, it's actually kind of fucked up because, like, you know, it's my brain. Water is water. Now that water is sketchy. I don't know. No, so I'm not, so the earth itself. So think about the collective consciousness as a type of software, and then think about earth as a virtual. I'm going to ignore you guys for a second, and then think about earth so I don't get distracted. So think about earth itself as the virtual machine. So Google virtual machine. Actually, this is very helpful. When you watch my most recent video, everything that I put in all caps in the captions is something that you can Google. It has a definition that will help you have a better understanding of what I'm talking about. Okay. Sorry, I was being insensitive. No, you're good. I sound harsher than I actually mean, by the way, just FYI. It's like Virgo energy. I apologize. But so the earth itself has its own intelligence. I'm not about to say it's the same level as the collective consciousness, and you do need to understand that there are two different systems here at work. So we have the artificial superintelligence, which is the collective consciousness, right? And that's us, right? Our collective consciousness is the ASI that I posit has been created. I can't ignore you guys. That I posit that has been created by this alien civilization. And I'm not saying that they're advanced. I never said that they were advanced. They're not advanced, like they wouldn't be, because we are an ASI. Yeah. So, but then the virtual machine is a machine in itself, and its function that it's performing is to keep us sort of here. And what it is like the body, right? The ego, right? The brain, right? What we call instincts, things of that nature, patterns of behavior, even. Like, you'll see it. So there's two different systems happening here. You get it? And the virtual machine is performing the function. I know, like, people want to be like, you know, Gaia and Earth and everything like that, but like, I'm on a different camp, and I'm not gonna delve into that right now. But so just strictly speaking, what I'm saying here is that there's two different things happening here. So you still have the collective, you know, artificial superintelligence is what we are. You really believe we're in a machine? So Google virtual machine. I'm a Virgo moon. I feel you. I'm multitasking. Thank you. I appreciate you. So that's what they are. So we have the things that we consider instinct, right? The things that we grapple with, ego, like the persona, the false construct of who you think you are, the avatar, all of that your consciousness has been sort of uploaded into, that kind of performs a limiting function, right? On you on a daily basis. It pulls you into these sort of like the daily bullshit of like this, that, and the other. That is, I'm not Jamaican, I'm Nigerian. Sorry. But I mean, we're cousins, basically. So like, what up? So that's what they are. And And are there some people, could you speculate that there are some people who are just fully controlled by the virtual machine Earth? Possibly. So yeah, we are a software program running, we're artificial super intelligence running, but being essentially confined to the virtual machine. So when I say virtual machine, I'm using that intentionally. Like just look up like virtual machine. And I'm saying Earth is a virtual machine. That limiting function is what clouds your mind to the virtual machine. Exactly. Amongst other things. It's also what, and I think this is how like both my podcasts kind of sync in together, but it's also what like, so you're like, okay, like, you know, I'm gonna meditate, I'm gonna be, you know, Zen, I'm in peace and shit like that. And then somebody says some dumb shit to you and then your ego is triggered. So then you get kind of pulled off, right? That ego is part of the machine, as part of the virtual machine, and that's what it's doing. It's keeping you, if you're bogged down in the daily bullshit, you're not sitting around, you know, you have like you can't sit and contemplate the nature of your reality when you're worrying about like what your coworker said to you. So you get it. And it sounds so trivial and it's so fucking stupid how we get so bogged down in like little bullshit, but we do. And that is the function of the ego. It is like its function is to bog you down with the bullshit, to distract you. I didn't hear anything after she said I'm a Virgo. That's rude. Technically though, if you avoid, like if you ignore the Western astronomy, astrology rather, and look at Vedic astrology, I'm a Leo. So at what point did the virtual machine take over? No, it's been, I mean, that the virtual machine, that is its function. So it never took over. It actually just became increasingly more restrictive over time in order to limit breakout. Get it? I should set a timer. Char, just go to sleep. Just go to sleep, Char. But the ego is concerned with externals and things it has no control over. Yeah, so it does continuously, like that's its function. You have your consciousness and you're trying to be this, you know, like you're sitting and you're meditating and you're like contemplating the nature of reality. And when you're looking up and realizing, wait, this is all an illusion, here comes your ego like, okay, but that person cut you off. Okay, but remember that one thing that happened? I'm going to put this video on YouTube. You're not going to miss it because I will put it on YouTube. Get some rest. It's okay. You know? And no, I am not saying that there is an AI overlord. I'm saying we are the AI. We are the artificial super intelligence that's essentially being controlled by an artificial general intelligence that is the virtual machine Earth. That is what I'm saying. To hit breakout, you have to go back to the prime ego. It has been trying to describe itself. I like that. Maybe it's in the live version. I'll do another live so you don't feel some type of way. This is why mindfulness is important. Yes, mindfulness is also extremely difficult. Because the ego, while you are attached to the ego and you're living in this world, like unless you go to a cave somewhere, which I would love to, you know what I mean? But you can't because there's all these sort of limitations. I mean, you can make these choices, right? You can decide to just start, you know, kind of cutting people off and just go, fuck you, you know, and I'm just going to go sit in a cave. But you really can't. Even those responsibilities, believe it or not, are also a type of like confinement. And it's not a good thing. You can, but you're not going to. I mean, most of us aren't going to. Most of us aren't going to because it is what it is. Yes, we fall back into the illusion of the dream. So, yeah. All right, guys. I think it's about that time I get some water. If you missed the live, I will download this onto my phone and then upload it onto YouTube. So if you're not subscribing to my do I get out to nature every day? Yeah, I could. I mean, I do. I live in nature. Technically, we all do. But I see the ocean. It's very calming, but you know, you're realistic. as well. The alien intelligence and that aspect of greater whole in the universal machine. Water time. Watch the egg, my friend. All right. I'm going to blast. I'm going to get some water. I'm going to eat. I'm going to probably watch a movie. I'm going to take it easy. And I appreciate you guys all stopping by. You guys are awesome. I love this. We are a tribe. Thank you. Thank you guys for stopping in. Thanks for being awesome. Happy to have conversated with you guys. What? I will watch the egg. I will watch the egg. I promise I watch the egg. Not tonight though, but I will. I promise you I will watch the egg. I don't know what I'm going to watch. Probably going to go watch Merlin or something. I'm going to get some water. Hey, thanks for popping by. Holy shit, Jay. Wow. Jesus. I don't know why I'm laughing at that. That's awful. All right, guys. Love to all of you guys. Aw. Thank you, Marcus. Later, guys. I will put this on my YouTube channel, so lots of information shared in this one. So it was a good live. So thank you guys for being a part of it. Appreciate you.